This is Noreen from Joy of Cards, and today we're going to make this really cool Santa, like outdoor Christmas card. This is really neat and it's really easy. I'm sure you've seen this one on the internet as well, and boy, I just really loved it that I decided to go ahead and try to make it as well. So I also have, if you want to screenshot this, all the instructions to make this stamp because it's pretty awesome. And basically, you got stamps are Holly Jolly Christmas, Snow Front. We're going to be using this tree right here, the big tree, and Merry Moose, and you're also going to use this big tree right here. And then the paper, we're going to use basic black for the card base, just the 5.5 by 8.5, scored and folded. We're going to have the Granny Apple Green, which is going to be the part behind it. It's Granny Apple Green right here, and also Granny Apple Green inside the card as well. So, and then the inks, we are going to be using Daffodil Delight, Granny Apple Green, Coastal Cabana, Gorgeous Grape, Night of Navy. Boy, this stamp I use all the time. This is, if you're going to only get so many stamps, this is definitely one you want to grab. And, of course, Memento. And we are going to be using Versamark to emboss the Believe on the card. Okay, and then we're going to be using Stampin' blends and a few tools, which I'll go on in a minute. So the first thing we want to do is to try to make this as our background piece here. And if you notice, all the light is in the center here. So as we apply our inks, we want to keep the darker colors more on the outside. So the first thing I'm going to do is grab the Daffodil Delight. We'll open it up here. And we're going to take one of these really inexpensive Stampin' Up! Sponges. They come round, but I cut them in, like six little triangles. And we're going to really dab this in. And here's our paper. I've got some scratch paper underneath using my glass pad, which I love because it kind of keeps everything clear. It also keeps things from closing in and invading your work area. So I have a tendency to do that. So we want to get this pretty good. I've made this card a bunch of times, so I've maybe need to refill my pad here. But we're going to put in circles this yellow. And another trick I found, because I've made so many of these cards, is to kind of leave a little bit of white within your color. So I'm going to go ahead and close up this box, make sure it clicks, and you close it every time because you're always, I'm always like putting things on top with something and then it gets all inked up. Speaking of inked up, you're going to get inked up on your hands as well. So just be aware. Then we're going to use the Granny Apple Green. And we're going to dab that here. Not too dark. Not, you don't have to put it in real solid. I do like the green. So there's your Granny Apple Green. And of course, close the evil ink box because it'll get you. And then Coastal Cabana. I'm going to do that. Ink it up. Just put a little bit. I don't know how much it really blocks in through the card, but just a little bit. And then close that puppy up. And then Gorgeous Grape. So here's a dark color that you want to be careful with. I wouldn't put too much. Probably just enough to make color. Right? Just a little bit here and there. Okay, and then we're going to close this one up. And then Night of Navy. This is really dark. So we're definitely going to keep this only on the outside edges of your paper here. Don't put any in the middle. And we're going to do the entire side. Now, it's telling you this is one of my most used stamps, so definitely I need to refill the stamp because I just all the time. So if you're looking for some basic colors, this is definitely one of them. So I'm not going to make it too dark, especially where we're going to put the trees. I don't want it too dark on the trees, so we're just going to ink around here. And you want to use the circle motion so you avoid any kind of oddness. And then I also like to do the edges of everything. Do the edges. And on the shimmer paper, I know you probably can't tell in the video, but this shimmer white paper really picks up this ink nicely. It's so, I wouldn't use a plain white on it because you're going to just miss out on a lot of the effect. And of course, close up the evil box. And then we're going to take black. So we'll get our memento out. I'm definitely going to go over the Night of Navy. Over. I'm putting quite a bit of pressure on it. Or the memento gets used quite a bit as well. And then I'm going to even take that Night of Navy, not ink it up, and just kind of go over it a little bit. The yellow isn't so out there. Put the lid on. Next thing you want to do is grab a baby wipe, because you're definitely going to get inked up in this video. So try to get it off your hands as much as possible. If I wasn't doing a video, I'd go to the sink and wash off my hands really well, because it will definitely transfer. It's always at the last minute that you put your hand on something. It's like, you're right at the end, you're finished. It's like, I just messed it up. So here we go. And then next thing we're going to do is we're going to stamp all the trees and everything else. So I've got a piece of scratch paper, and I'm going to definitely use my Stamparatus, because the last thing you want to do is be stamping and then you didn't get enough ink on your stamp, and then you can't, there's no way to line it back up. So I'm also going to put scratch paper into here, so I don't, so it's just easier to clean my Stamparatus. The first thing I'm going to put in are the trees on the bottom here. So these trees on the bottom, and the trees basically almost touch the landline there. So I'm going to put about 3/4 of it showing, maybe going a little off the page. Close this up, have it stick. And use memento. Stamp that on there good. And do it again. See, it wasn't dark enough, so you got to do it again. And I'll even go a third time. All right. And then, now this is the big stamp that is in my Mary Moose. So it's the big one right there. And then the next one I'm going to use is the big one from Snowfront, just to kind of give it a little variety. And I'm going to have it overlap that tree as well. And then stamp it up. Stamp it up. And we're good. Now, if you notice, I'm taking these stamps off every time. Usually on your Stamparatus, because you get 2 of these plates and you can use both sides and switch them around and stuff. But we're going to be doing so much movement here that I'm just going to take them off every time. Oh, you can hear my dog in the background. Say hi, buddy. And okay, the next thing we're going to do is the landmass here with the trees. So here's the stamp out of Snowfront. It's this one right here. And we're going to line it up right on the top of the tree there. Move my magnet. Close it up. Get a good bunch of ink on there. Oops, see? Now, if I would have done that with a block, it would be no way to measure that back up. Do it again. My memento is just needs to be re-inked. Do it again. There you go. And then the next one I'm going to do, take that one off. Next one I'm going to do is the landmass in between, which is this little piece here in Snowfront. So I'm going to line that up. And I apologize that I'm not doing this upside down, but there's just no way I could do this upside down. It would look terrible. So I'm going to close that. Ink it up. Ink it up again. Nope, that looks good. And take that off. We're going to put the landmass on again. And let's move our magnets and move our scratch. Everything around here. Line it up. And we're going to take it and we're going to put it on the other side, kind of linking all the land masses together. And grab that, ink it up. My dying memento. All right. Now I did have a spot where it just didn't kind of line up so great, but since this is black and it's very forgiving, I'm just going to take my dark black blending pen and just kind of fill it in a little bit. Maybe make some adjustments here. Okay, perfect. And then we're going to grab the little deer that's in snow frontage right there. And we're going to take those deer and we're going to line them up so their feet aren't, floating in the air. Take this one off. Okay. I'm going to move my magnets away. I think the closer to the door here, the not as good of a transfer yet. So, of course, do it again. Get them in there nice and dark. Okay. And like I said, if you've got a floating leg here, you just take this blending pen and just make a little hill. There you go. No longer floating. You can even, because Snowfront looks like a watercolor kind of thing, sometimes they come out a little light. So you can even just carefully fill in a little bit of the white spots from that particular stamp. And then we'll move the magnet up here and we'll go back to the trees. So we're going to start with a big stamp again, put it right on the edge and hanging off the paper. Take off my deer and stamp that up real good. I want to do it again. Okay, then we're going to move it. This is why I'm not changing around the plates, because you move this thing so many times, and even the landmass you move around because you use it twice. There's just no way to really do it. You just kind of have to take it off. You get a little inked up. That's okay. Just means you're enjoying yourself. And then I'm gonna put another one here. And I'm gonna get to that little tree here in a second. And I'm gonna put another one here. And another one here. Believe it or not, I'll put them low this time, just to make them all not the same height. Okay, and then I'm gonna take the smaller tree. I'm gonna find spots for him like here. Maybe I'll go really high. Kind of make it look like it's an actual forest. So they're not all lined up. And maybe I'll put one here, I guess. Okay, that's good enough. Okay, take the tree off, get that off, put the lid back on the memento, and do what? Get the baby wipe, because your hands are going to be covered in ink. So just try to get off the surface amount. Okay, you got your thing. Next we're going to do is we are going to mount this on its green background. So get out the regular tape, it's fine. Line it up like so. And then we got to grab our Believe piece, which has decided to disappear. Where's Believe? I'll find Believe in a minute. In the meantime, we'll go ahead and put on the Santa. And I like using my little silicone pad, which is right here. And we're going to go ahead and we'll go ahead and tape it. I usually like to glue it, but it's fine if it's taped. It's quicker. No one's going to know. I'm going to fly them right up there. So it looks pretty good so far. And then we need to find the Believe piece, which has decided to hide. I don't know if you've ever had things just totally disappear. Oh, right in front of me. Okay, so what we're going to do with the Believe piece is I'm going to put it right off here. And then we're going to turn it over and cut it off. So, doink and doink. Rid of that. Now we can mount it on our card base. So I'll go ahead and snail it up. And put it on like that. Now, and that looks great. And that's the front. I mean, that's just really, really nice. Now, the inside, it was just okay. So I just went ahead and I stamped a Santa from Holly Jolly Christmas. Also, the sentiment there, I did that in real red. This is just in black. And then I took my blender pens, which I've been over to my right here. And what I did is I just colored them in. So we're just going to put them inside here. Real easy. Bunk, bunk, bunk. And I'll color them off camera because you don't need to watch me color. So that's it. I mean, the stamps, the die. You didn't see me do the die. I cut it beforehand. The die is from Jolly Season. Really quick and easy. I even did this on my Sidekick. I got it to work through my Sidekick, which I love because it's so much better than having like my Big Shot Plus here taking up my whole desk. So anyway, that is it. And if you're interested, here is my Stampin' Up site here and my October host code. If you place an order and it's under $150, use my host code. If it's over, don't use the host code because you get free stuff. So that's great. And feel free to case my stuff all you want, copy it. Here again, if you want to screenshot this, all the instructions, all the inks, how to do it. There's no hidden agenda. You don't have to do anything but whatever you want to do. So thank you so much for letting me make a card. Bye.